everyone, my name is Jennifer Stay. This is Coloring Bliss, and my collection of Derwent pencils is crazy big and very confusing, and I'm here to talk to you about some of the many different types of Derwent pencils, how to make sense of them, and we're going to put them into action on a coloring page. This one right here, a fun autumn one that I had Steve print for me on a tan piece of paper. This coloring page is going to be available as a free download for a limited time, so follow the link in the video description. I'm also going to put links to everything I possibly can that I'm going to show and use during this video. And remember, I'm not sponsored. I purchased all of these products and we're going to have a lot of fun. So let's get started sorting out and coloring with Derwent pencils. Just a minute, Jennifer. I want to tell all of you about some coloring pages for Halloween that we just made available. There are two, one that is free and one for our premium library. So I want to make sure everybody has something fun to color for Halloween. First, we have this brand new piece of art from one of our awesome Bliss artists. And isn't it so much fun? I can't wait to see how you guys color this one. It's free for a limited time. Follow the link in the video description. Come and get it and celebrate Halloween with us. Now, if you're one of our premium members, that means you have access to hundreds, literally. How many are we at now, Steve?
Almost 700, I think.
Almost 700 coloring pages, whole bunch of them. And this is a brand new one going into the premium library. Isn't it adorable? Can't wait to see how you guys color it for Halloween. Now, I also want to make you aware that we have this really fun new coloring book called Halloween Bliss, and it is full of some really fun art to celebrate Halloween. Lots of fun things to color in here. Now, it's available as a digital download and also in the Bliss print shop, and it's also part of the custom build your own coloring book library. So if you want to come in and maybe you love this owl but you hate that cat and you want to switch it out, you can do that over in our build your own custom coloring book. So come and check that out. Lots of papers to pick from. Oh, I'm so excited about this book. Okay, back to Jennifer. Rose, are we going to color with Derwent? I think she wants to. Yeah, Derwent. It's good. All right, so I recently decided to kind of organize a whole bunch of my different random Derwent pencil sets, and as I was doing that, I started to question, like, Derwent, what did you envision me as your customer to do with all these pencils? What was your purpose in having so many different lines of pencils? So I went on their website and found an awesome link that breaks down all their pencils, what their purposes are, how many colors there are, even like the size of the pencils and whether they're wax-based or oil-based. All that information is broken down really well with links to see the full color charts and everything. It's awesome. So I'm going to include that link that takes you to Derwent's website. So if you want to figure out what the difference is between the Derwent Artist pencils and the Coloursoft pencils versus the Lightfast and the Inktense and the Studio and the Procolour, this chart will hopefully help you. And we're going to talk a little bit about it as we use these pencils. Now, what I did, and I'm going to roll some B-roll right now so you can see me doing it. What I did is I took a bunch of my smaller sets and put them all into one case. This case that you see me using right now is the Global Art case that I love. And typically I can get 3 pencils to every loop inside these cases. But with the Derwent pencils being a little bit of a fatter pencil, I typically just do 2 pencils to a loop just to make it easier on myself to slide the pencils in and out quick and without frustration. So that's what you're seeing me do. I'm putting all of my pencils into one case and they look so beautiful and organized and ready to go. Okay, so let's peek inside this case now and look together at what pencil types I put all into one. And I did write on the spine Derwent. And let's look here. Whoop, other way around. Okay, so up front, in this case, I have all my Derwent Drawing pencils, which I have the full set now. There's 24 of those colors all right here. Now, representing the Derwent Procolour line, I only have 12 pencils for that set, and they're all right here. And then next up we have the Derwent Coloursoft line, and I have 24 of those pencils, so they're all right here. Now, I have the full set of Derwent Lightfast. That's what these are here. There's 12 of them here. But I have the full set, and there will be an upcoming video soon where I actually take the full set and put them into this case. I've decided that this blue type of global art case is the case I'm going to be using for all my Derwent products. So you'll be seeing an upcoming video where I put all of the full set of Derwent Lightfast into this case here. In this case, I have all my Derwent Inktense pencils, and they're spread out. I was able to get them into threes. The Derwent Inktense, we have a tritone color scheme selector book set up with light, mediums, and darks for every color on the color wheel. That's what this represents right here. And then these are all the pencils that don't go into that tritone setup, but are here ready for me to work with. So I have the Inktense pencils as well. Now, not in these cases that are Derwent, I have the Derwent Metallic, I have some Derwent Watercolor, and I have Steve's favorite, the Derwent Graphitin. I think he's really hoping and excited that I use the Graphitin on this.
Go Graphitin!
He loves the Graphitin, so I think that's going to end up on our little raccoon here. So that's all the Derwent products that I have. That's all I have. So like I said, they have this awesome printout that shows each of the lines. So for instance, here is the Coloursoft line, and it's a 4mm core with 72 colors available. It tells you what it's ideal for. So this one is ideal for a wide range of drawing styles, from bold landscapes to more detailed illustrations, portraiture and fashion design, bold, ultra soft color for smooth coverage. And then it goes into some more details like wax base, soft, velvety texture, creates sharp detail or blend the colors together, 72 colors again in the range. And then it's talking about light fast here, 88% light fast, where the artist range over here is only 79% light fast. It talks about all products are vegan friendly. And then if you were on their website, you could use these links here to go view some top tips for these pencils, some creative ideas, the color chart, all kinds of stuff here. But they do that kind of information for every line so that hopefully it will help you pick what line you may want to try collecting in and give you some ideas of other things they have, like the metallic range or tinted charcoal. I didn't know they had tinted charcoal pencils. That sounds like a lot of fun to try. They have all kinds of neat things like pastel pencils, water-soluble sketching pencils, and here's the Graphitint, the 24 Graphitint. So there's lots to learn. The watercolor, I only have 12 watercolor pencils and there's 72. So like I said, lots to learn about, and I'm really grateful that they finally came out with a concise way to look at all their pencil lines in one place, compare the different specs, and sort of understand and wrap my head around all these different pencil types, because I have been very confused for a long time. So this will be a good way for me to go and research and understand more in depth what every line is for. But today what I want to do is actually put them to work. So I'm going to kind of keep handy my Inktense and these other tins that aren't in this single case right here. And we're just going to dive deep into Derwent pencils and have fun coloring with them on this tan-toned paper. Coloring on toned paper is a different experience and can be a little daunting if you've never done it before, but oh boy, is it fun. We're actually going to be teaching a series of lessons here soon over at our website. If you're interested in learning more about coloring, whether it's on tan paper, with colored pencils, or with pastels or gouache paint, we have lessons and tutorials for almost any type of coloring situation, and I highly recommend you come and check it out. The amount of tutorials and learning resources that are there is very exciting, and there's hundreds of hours of information there waiting for you to help you learn how to color and just bring your skills way up. So I'm excited to try these Derwent tools all on here and kind of feel them all side by side and use them for their different properties and features. It's going to be a fun experience. So I'll probably do a little coloring and cut in from time to time to show you and talk to you about what I'm doing. So let's put some color on our little friends here and see how they turn out. Okay, so the first thing I need to do for our little owl is sort of wrap my head around the color scheme that I want to use, and I need to keep in mind that I'm going for an autumn feel and that we're working on toned paper here. So I want to show you something that I've been playing around with, and that is doing this kind of thing. So I've been really inspired lately by imagery from movies and TV shows. I was flipping through different shows on Hulu and found this thumbnail for a show starring Steve Martin, and he has this cool show with this amazing, look at the color palette that they are using for their little thumbnail on Hulu. How cool is this? The colors are so beautiful. So what I did was I took a screenshot of this photo and I brought it into a free program called Adobe Color, and I was able to use that program and it pulls the colors out. Hopefully you can see that. Let me see if I can brighten this up a little bit so that you can see it as good as possible. Okay, that's a little bit brighter. There, that's better. So you can see it pulls out certain colors out of the image that you load, and you get a color scheme, and then you can choose colors from your tools, your paints, your color pencils, whatever it is that you're using, based on this color scheme right here. It's a really cool way to pick your color scheme. So if you would like to learn how to use Adobe Color like this, we have taught how to use Adobe Color in one of those many videos that I mentioned over with the Bliss Partners. So I will put a link to that particular video lesson in case you are interested in learning that. We also have a full 4-part tutorial series where we teach you how to get picking colors fast. I think it's called the Color Picking Fast Track. Is that what it's called, Steve? Yeah. It's an awesome series of videos. Look, I've also been taking other images and using them as well. This is another series that had beautiful color schemes. See the colors it pulls out of the images? Such a cool free tool, and you can take real advantage of it to create beautiful color schemes. So much fun. Okay, so I think I'm going to use that first one I showed you. Let me bring it up just so I can reference it off to the side and find some colors that will work. So I'm going to do a little bit of swatching here to find the colors. And for that, I'm going to be swatching into my Volume 1 swatch bliss that I had Steve print for me on the tan paper. And this is also another great way to keep track of all your products and how they act and perform on various types of paper. So this is available. You can get these types of swatch books also printed on white paper and black paper, marker paper, watercolor paper, all kinds of awesome swatch books available at Coloring Bliss. So I'm going to do a little swatching and be right back. As I was researching all these Derwent pencils, I came across something that I didn't know Derwent offered, and that's a build-your-own tin. So they have this option where you can actually build either a 6 or a 12 pencil tin. You tell them exactly which pencils across all their lines you want in the tin. They'll put it in there and ship it off to you. I've never done this before. If you've done it, and I would love to hear, what was your experience? This is such a cool idea. I want all companies to offer this. Okay, I just finished putting all the swatches down onto the tanned paper, and oh, pretty, pretty, pretty. So from here to here, these are all the Derwent Drawing pencils. From here to here, we have Derwent Procolour. And then from here to here, it's Derwent Coloursoft. Bring them up to the screen so you can see them a little bit closer. So pretty. Okay, and then here we have 12 of the Derwent Lightfast. This is, okay, now we get into the water soluble. So here are the Derwent watercolor pencils. The Derwent Metallic, I'm going to move it in the light here in just a second, and Derwent Graphitant. So both of these should catch the light a little bit. The Graphitant is a tinted graphite, so think like a number 2 pencil. That's what this is. So let's move this in the light and see if the metallic catches the light. Some are more shiny than others, and the graphite usually catches the light. Yep. The graphite, because it's graphite, has a shine to it as well. So you can see, I think you can tell why Steve is drawn to the graphite. It's very masculine color scheme, very vintagey type feel. I'm happy with the way the metallic is paying off on the tan paper too, and the watercolor. It's a really nice effect with the tan paper shining up through. The only problem with using water-soluble materials on this tan paper is this is not watercolor paper. This is a really high-quality cardstock, very nice and thick. So we can use the water-soluble materials, but we just have to tread lightly and be very careful that we don't mess with the texture of the paper too much. But what I'm thinking is going across some of these large areas with some of these water-soluble pencils, and then going on top of that wash with some of the color pencils to really up the shadows and make the shading look just right. So that's kind of the direction I think we're going to go. And I'm going to use this color palette that I showed you a little bit ago for inspiration. So if we look at these colors, let me get my face off of here, and the water soluble selections in particular, like the ivy color jumps out at me for this green right here. That's one of Steve's graphites. Or not graphite, graphitant. So I'll grab ivy to represent this dark green. And then this is sort of, I'm going to stick my head in here so I can look straight down. It's kind of a yellow, I don't know what color that is, Steve. Steve is my color guru. Why don't you come and help me with these colors for a second, Steve? I picked ivy for this green. What color would you call this?
It's like a mustard yellow or something.
Yeah, in the water-soluble land, what color? Would you go that color? Or would you go...
Let's see it straight down. Yeah.
Oh, I made it bigger.
Yeah, I think you're right. That's probably close, or maybe even the gold.
The metallic gold. I didn't even look at that one. Okay, let's do metallic gold for that color. And then we need something to represent this reddish color. Metallic gold. the red color here, we have two reds. We have this red,
Yeah, which could be maybe that one or something.
the autumn color.
And then that red is probably a brighter, yeah, choose a
Crimson or this red.
maybe even scarlet.
That's not water soluble.
Oh,
though,
you're not
so
going in that route.
I'm picking water soluble for the wash underneath it. Is it more that red? The metallic
I
red?
think maybe even more of that.
So a crimson red for this red.
Yeah.
And then which did you like for that one?
The dark one.
Oh, you kind of like...
I think you could either go with that or that, maybe. I mean, you're compromising on either, but
Yeah, so
which way you want to compromise?
Crimson Lake.
Same with that red. There's nothing that really matches perfectly.
So you're feeling like either port or autumn brown. I'm kind of liking the port, but if you look at it up here...
Oh, yeah. I mean, neither of them is that color, so you could go either way.
Okay. So let's look at the colors we have, and that will help us decide. I'm going to grab a piece of tan paper. Okay, I did some testing and swatching here to see which colors and how I'm liking them. So I have this sample piece of paper. I'm just drying this down real quick so we can see the actual color. When it's wet, it'll look one way, and then as it dries, it's going to look a different way. Okay. So I like the choice for Crimson Lake, gold, ivy, and I picked slate green for this blue-green type color. So now it's just a matter of choosing which color for this final reddish color. And I think I like port better. It's enough of a difference between Crimson Lake, and it'll give us some variety. It just leans a little more blue, so I think port is the winner. So those will be our main colors that we'll use for our wash, inspired by that color scheme. I'm excited. Okay, let's bring up our little guy here. And now, oh, he's just a little bit wet on the corner. He'll dry. Okay, so I need to put Autumn Brown away so I don't accidentally use him, because we're just going to use port. Okay, so now I just need to make a few color decisions where I want these colors to lie and block it in, do some water activating, and I will be back. Hi everybody, so it's day 2. I had to take a break, so we are back at it. Left everything here the way it was as I left it. Let me show you where we're at right now with this project. I think I've got almost everything except the red leaves blocked in and activated with water, and you can see how the different products are laying out. There's some splotchiness. Some of this has to do with because this is graphite. Some of it has to do with it because it's the metallic pencils. Some of it has to do with because we're on cardstock. Some of it has to do with how I laid it down. All of it doesn't matter to me right now, just so you know, because I'm going to be coloring on top of it, and all I wanted was a wash of somewhat even color. So that's how I'm feeling about it. The other thing I'm a little worried about is the color scheme. It's looking a little chaotic at this point. A purple raccoon with slightly green skin and a red and blue owl. Gotta say, but never judge halfway, right? Let's get going. Okay, to add shading to the purplish part of the raccoon, I picked 4 colors. One was the original Port Graphitant pencil, and the other 3 came from the Derwent Drawing and Derwent Lightfast lines. Now, this was a strange experience to blend mixing wax-based pencils and graphite pencils together, but it worked surprisingly well, and I'm quite pleased with the shading that I was able to accomplish. So for all of this shading, I kind of gave myself a challenge to only use pencils that are in this Derwent case. So I'm not reaching for the full set of Derwent Lightfast or the Inktense pencils, just these partial sets and of course the full set of Derwent Drawing that is in this blue case. Now, it's not been a problem at all until the greens, and the greens are an issue. I'm trying for that ivy sort of dark yellowish green, but there aren't that many choices that I can pick from to get a really good light color, so I'm struggling here with blending in some very odd greens together. Let's see how it turns out. I left the owl to the end because I knew it would give me a chance over on the fox to kind of prove out all the different blends of the color combinations. So as I came over to our charming little owl, I'd be confident in all the colors I picked and ready to color him. Okay, my cute little coloring page is coming together, but I need to add some white highlights, and in this case there is one pencil that was part of the winners from the white color pencil battle that we recently did. And we've got the Chinese white right here, this guy right here, so actually there's two in here, and then the Coloursoft white. These two scored really high in that battle. So I'm going to pull both of them out and swatch them. Now I've also been swatching every color I've used on this page for you on this little card. It's something that I usually do when I do my real-time color alongs. So that, I think that was the Chinese white. Anyway, just so that you know, I'm going to try using both. White C720. Now, when Steve creates the blog that he usually does for our YouTube videos, I'll have him take a photo of this as well, just in case you want to know the trios and the what's it for combination quads that I did to try to create the blends on our cute little guy here. And I'm excited to show you the things I like about how this is turning out and the things that I'm not too happy about. But we'll do that here in just a second after I've added some white highlights and white details. Okay, it's all done. I'm so excited. I used only the Derwent pencils in that case, and now I'm going to let Steve see it for the first time. What do you think, Steve?
Oh, wow. I love that color palette.
It's so different. Like, okay.
It is very different.
What I'm going to do is have Steve do some of his editing magic, and I want to do before, when that halfway point where I was like, I'm not sure what I think of this color palette, and how it turned out. Remember how I said don't judge halfway? This is what I'm talking about. I'm so pleased with how this turned out.
Just so pretty.
Okay, so I'm going to put it straight down here, and Steve can do his editing magic. I'm going to hold it down because it is curling a little bit. Right there, and hopefully he can find a shot from earlier, and we can do a before and after and see the halfway and the difference between the two. And now I need to talk about the things I'm not too happy about, but I'm just so pleased because overall I'm very pleased with how this turned out. All right, things I don't like about it. I think I got a little carried away with the white highlights yet again. I just have so much fun with the white highlights.
I don't think so.
You don't think so? I think I put a few in the wrong places. I'm not going to point them out. You'll see if you have an eye for if you know where light source is supposed to be, you know I put some in places they shouldn't be, because it's just charming and I love it. So that's one thing I think I could have pulled back on. The other thing I think I don't like about it is because I was crossing so many different types of pencils, including graphite mixed in with wax, there were some times where those pencils did not want to mix. Plus, I was pushing some weird color combinations. So here you can see weird pushing reds and peaches together with pinkies. Anyway, sometimes I was doing some weird things. In the eye, right next to the left eye, you can see where some things went astray. The blends didn't come together exactly right, and it looks a little not smooth. It happened several times. And I think it's a combination of a lot of things. I think the biggest factor is pushing weird colors together and pushing different lines of pencils together. When you do that, sometimes things go astray. But only, I think, did you even notice that?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
No.
I didn't think he noticed.
But now that you pointed it out, of course I see
Yeah,
it.
now you can see the chunky blend there.
Yeah.
Across the top of the head, I had a bit of the same issue. The lavender color didn't want to push in, and I think it's because I used too much of the graphite color underneath it. We were using that port color.
Yeah, those are tough, aren't they?
Yeah, so graphite and wax. Now, having said that, I think there's something there, and I think I need to explore mixing the graphitant with the wax a little bit more, because sometimes they blended together in ways that felt new and really good. So I think there's something there, but I haven't quite wrapped my artistic head around it yet. Have you ever colored with the graphitant and some wax-based pencils side by side, mixing colors in before? If you have and you know what was going on and why sometimes it worked and sometimes it didn't, please let me know what I need to know.
That's amazing, though, that you mix that many.
Yeah.
So
metallic, water-based, graphite, and wax-based.
Wow.
Wax and oil-based pencils are all in this one thing here on tanned paper. I
love that look. Yeah.
Yeah. So the tan paper does a lot of good things for us. If you look up close, again, the speckles of the color pencil is seen here, but it doesn't bother you quite so much because of that watercolor wash we did, plus the nice tan paper shines up through. Yeah. So you end up with that cool texture effect rather than it being distracting. It adds to the texture. So yeah, I'm quite pleased. And the color palette, like we use that weird color palette, I feel like it did good. Is it an autumn color palette? Again, comment below. Do you think it looks autumn? And I kind of think all raccoons need to be purple from here on out. I love him. I think he's adorable. Yeah. I just don't know if it truly is an autumn color palette. If it is, I don't have any leaves that are exactly that color in my neck of the woods. Maybe you do. Comment below. So don't forget, this page is a free download, limited time. So follow the link and get that download, and you can color him too. And I'd love to see what you do with yours. And there will be a blog where you can go and get all the links that I've mentioned. There were some awesome Derwent links that you're going to want to check out, and links to lots of videos and resources that we have at Coloring Bliss. And I will try to have Steve link as many of the types of pencils that I used and showed in this video that he possibly can. Thank you, Steve, for making awesome blogs and awesome links for all of us. And thank you to all of you for joining me for this really fun exploration of all these Derwent pencils. It was a lot of fun. I learned a lot. Okay, thanks again for joining us, and I hope you all have a wonderful, colorful, blissful day. Bye-bye, everyone. She's so asleep she didn't even poke her head up for the end. She's just snoring. Yeah, it's hard work coloring with Mom.